Good morning. I'm Captain Michael O'Leary, the Commanding Officer of Naval Sport Activities South Potomac. Today we're going to talk about all the things we're doing on the installation to support our families. First, I'd like to introduce the folks here on the panel with me. To my left here is Marissa Fabey. She is the South Potomac N9, which takes care of child care, fleet and family, food service operations, MWR, probably 1.5 million other things, and I'll let her talk more about that as we go through. To my far right over here is Mrs. Riccio. She's the principal to the Dahlgren School, and she's going to talk a few words about what the school's doing to support the families. And my near right here is Chaplain Selitto, and he's going to talk about all the things he's doing for resiliency. But before we get too far along, I want to talk about what the installation's priorities are, which are the Navy's priorities as well, by the way. I am not one to invent new things, but our first priority is to take care of people, and that's what the focus of this panel is today. The second one is to maintain our readiness. There are still people in the world that mean to do us harm and want to do bad things, and so the Navy and the Marine Corps team and all of our services, quite frankly, have to maintain our readiness. And the last one is be part of the whole of government effort to reduce the spread of COVID-19. And the whole of government is really whole of the world. You are all those who are at home today, you are part of that effort to reduce the spread. So thank you for doing that. As things go on, we continue to learn more about how COVID-19 is being spread. So you may see additional guidance coming out here in the days and weeks to come. Just realize this is a good thing as we continue to learn what's happening around the country and how we can do better to help out those who are less vulnerable. And let me start off as well with realize most of the people who live and work on this installation are not in the demographic. It's come down to age 65 and older, where people with pre-existing conditions remain the most vulnerable to the effects of COVID-19. Our job for those who are under 65 and who are healthy, our job is to prevent that spread. That's how we are doing our part as Americans to stop the spread of COVID-19, to protect those who cannot be protected. We currently will not, probably for another year and a half, have a vaccine to prevent the spread and reduce the effects. So how we're doing that now is what we're doing now. It was initially called social distancing, but what people are starting to call it now is physical distancing. You'll see on the panel here, we have our spacing to also maintain that physical distancing. Luckily, we have means like today, Facebook and other social media, which I'm not normally a huge fan of. We're using it for good. Trying to get information out, trying to inform people, and try to maintain some level of social connectivity while maintaining our physical separation. Earlier this week, I received a message from the Vice Chief of Naval Operations. He reminded the leaders across the Navy that we're waging this war to the best of our ability, and the absolute first priority of our Navy leadership is to take care of our people. We're to look out for the health and well-being of families and employees while enabling our national security. It is our responsibility to help everyone understand the facts about COVID-19 and operate accordingly so we can sustain operational readiness to defend our nation, which is kind of what I talked about in the beginning, but I wanted to make sure I read that for that. It's a very difficult time. There's a lot of information flying around there, and something else I wanted to put out was please watch out for scams and misinformation. There are concerns that people are setting up scam websites to glean your information. They're putting misinformation out to cause more fear and panic across the country. So what I ask, like I asked in my last video, please come to an authoritative source. If you don't know, ask. And I'll give you an information line. Chaps will also give you other means to communicate with us if you don't know. So please, before you overreact and become scared, please ask for clarifying information if you hear of anything that's going on. It's not from what is normally an authoritative source. The base remains at Health Protection Condition Charlie, which means most of our facilities remain closed and most employees are teleworking. And I want to again thank everyone for staying home. This is doing our part to help avoid the spread. There are a few facilities still operating under N9, and I'll allow Ms. Fabey to talk about that as we go out there. But I do want to thank, though, those who are coming to work. I have a lot of people who come in every day. Obviously, our first responders. We have our fire, police, and EMS. We have our child care workers maintaining critical operations so that people who work at the clinic that we need to come into work, people who are doing food service, which again, thank all of them for coming in, and folks who are coming in doing those mission essential things of training students, developing weapon systems, and maintaining our fleet, making sure their children are cared for. So again, a big thanks to our child care workers maintaining that, grays, unaccompanied housing, family housing, and of course our cleaning contract. We have people coming in every day cleaning our spaces, again, to help prevent the spread of COVID-19, as well as just keeping up the cleanliness and overall health of our facilities. Talked about the medical staff. Thank you very much. They continue to be leading edge, keeping me informed. Before I got a lot of this information of how we're supposed to respond, they were ones that were giving me a lot of great information. So big shout out to the clinics here on both fence lines. I'd also like to thank NEX at Indian Head and here at Dahlgren, as well as the commissary here at Dahlgren. They are maintaining their operations so that people can get the supplies they need, the food they need to stay home and survive. And again, I appreciate their willingness to bring people in and maintain those critical operations so people can continue to live and carry out their days. Lincoln Housing will be sending out a customer satisfaction survey. Seems in an opportune time, but we have to maintain our feedback loop so that we can continue to improve our service in the housing area. So as that comes out, please participate in that. We're going to set up this communication line fairly regularly. Every week or two, we're going to put out videos. This time is more of a town hall or fireside chat. I haven't taken questions, but what I'm asking is, for the next one, we're going to put out the message asking for questions to be answered on the video. So I like to make this a regular thing, so you can submit your questions by commenting on this video on our social media pages or by calling our public affairs line. That's also a line you can call if you have questions. If you see something on social media you don't know if it's accurate or not, that's affecting someone on the installation, please call that line or ask a query on that. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter by searching for Naval Support Activity South Potomac. So some of you may have noticed from my last video to now, I have a mustache on my face. It's awful looking, I admit that. It's something to have fun with. These are things we do on deployment when we are restricted in where we can go on the ship or if we're on a forward deploy base inside a fence line. We found doing things like this help reduce stress. It's something we can have fun with. We have different contests on who's got the best looking, the worst looking, things of that nature. When I was in Afghanistan, forward deployed, when I was part of the Joint Warfare Analysis Center here at Dahlgren, we had a contest every week when in my home VTC, and I allowed the female folks who were forward with me from the team pick the criteria for the week so they could participate as well. So it's something you can include in the whole thing. So what I'm asking you, while you're at home, look for those ways to build each other up, enjoy mundane things. I used to look forward to steak night when I was in Afghanistan. It was terrible steak, but I looked forward to it, and I made a big deal of it every single time. And everyone always groaned because the steak wasn't that great, but I made a big deal of it, so it was something fun to have around to make the mundane entertaining. It helps break up the monotony and allows you guys to bond over something. So I did this for you, so you're welcome. I grew this for you guys. But in closing here, before I turn it over to the rest of the panel, by working together, we will beat COVID-19. The first thing we must beat, though, is misinformation and fear. So again, I ask you all, before you go out and overreact, before you put things on social media, I ask you all, please, please, get clarification, ask your chain of command, talk to the ombudsman, call the public affairs line. Chaplain's going to talk about some of his resiliency things he has out there along with Fleet and Family. And so please reach out for that, because together that's how we're going to do this. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Fabey at the N9 to talk about what she's got going on the installation.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Marissa.
So I wanted to take this opportunity to talk about some of the services that we do still have available despite a lot of our facilities still being closed. Over at the Fleet and Family Support Center, they are available via phone, and I encourage you to take advantage of their services if you need them. They can be reached at 540-653-1839. They are checking the voicemails regularly, every 30 minutes, if not more often, so you will get a quick call back, if not an immediate response. Over at Gray's Landing, where we're serving food, Everybody who is on base is still eligible to go receive meals in a takeout format from over there. Not all food options that you may currently be used to are available. So for example, we've shut down the salad bar just to do our part in reducing the chance of spread. So the price is reduced for most meals. Lunches and dinners are $7.50, and like I said, everybody is available, or excuse me, eligible to eat over at Gray's Landing. The Housing Service Center, so the counterpart to Lincoln Military Housing, again, is operating a lot like Clayton Family Support Center. They are available via phone. If you're calling for the Dahlgren office, the number is 540-653-8505. If you're calling for the Indian Head office, it's 301-744-4433. And the government office will be happy to give you a call back and are still very willing to take care of you of any issues you may have. A little bit more fun, we have the Easter Bunny still coming to Dahlgren. He's going to be going through our housing areas, I am told. We're expecting the bunny to be here next Thursday, April 9th, around 11 a.m. So what I ask is, if you're bringing your families out to see the bunny in the housing areas, please maintain distance from your neighbors. We're not going to congregate together. The bunny's not going to be shaking hands, giving hugs, unfortunately, but the children will be able to see him, and I hope there's a bit of an enjoyment factor that comes along with that. The MWR crew has been hard at work as well, if not physically here, and they put together a YouTube channel, so we're really excited to have that. I hear there are messages from some of our favorite Disney princesses on our YouTube channel. Yes, sir. The fitness crew has put together workouts you can do from your home using things that you commonly find around your home and guide you through those exercises. So those of you who are used to being in the fitness centers and who can't at the moment, you can still see the faces that you're used to seeing, and they'll guide you through some workouts. And then I also wanted to take this opportunity to sincerely thank those crews that we do still have on the installation who are continuing to work. We have quite a few people in N9 who fit that category. So our child care professionals at both fence lines, thank you, thank you, thank you for continuing to care for the children. Over at Gray's Landing, unaccompanied housing, NGIS, you guys are coming to work regularly, you're coming on base, and I really appreciate the efforts. The sense of team and camaraderie in N9 is unmatched. It's great. Thank you very, very much for your efforts. And to those crews who are working behind the scenes, coming up with inventive ways to still provide services. It's been challenging, but you guys have pulled through in an amazing, amazing way, and thank you.
Excellent. Thanks, Marissa. Mrs. Riccio, would you like to talk about what the Dahlgren School is doing?
Sure, I would be happy to.
Thank you.
We started off, as you all know, with a 2-day planning, and then we jumped right into learning. And I have to tell you, I am so impressed by what our staff, our teachers, our parents, and our students are doing. They have continued the mission of learning. They are all pretty much self-guided now, which is amazing. I know a lot of parents are learning about teaching, and I know that they're having fun with it. But we couldn't do this without you parents, so please, thank you all so much. We will continue to provide virtual learning. At this time, we do not have a date when we will be back to school. I do want to remind everybody that the week of the 13th or the 17th is spring break, and we will not have classes during that week, so you guys get a little break there, and make sure you take it and enjoy it. Get outside, cut the computers off, disconnect, get some exercise. Everybody needs that right now. And I know it feels like you all are sitting in front of a lot of computers, have a lot of computer time during the day. Make sure that you unplug. Make sure that you spend time with your family. Make sure that you appreciate what you've got right now, that you can actually bond and make memories that will last you for the rest of your lives. We really want to encourage that for you guys. So thank you again for what everybody is doing. We could not do it without you parents. Students, you are doing a bang-up job. The learning I see every day when I go into the classrooms is amazing. Teachers, what can I say? You all jumped right in and you kept it going, so thank you so much.
Excellent. Thank you, Mrs. Riccio. Before I go to Chaps, I have to do my standard sign-off for the students at the Dahlgren School. Those that don't know, they are the Tigers. That's their mascot. So I always ask. Now, I'm not going to get the response of what they want to do. I normally ask them if they want to go Tigers or they want to go roar. The last 2.5 years, every time I've gone in there, they've always defaulted to the B option. So on 3, I want all the students out there to go roar. 1, 2, 3. Roar! All right. So go Tigers. Thank you. Chaplain, over to you.
That's good. Thanks, sir. I do want to say thank you to everyone watching today, because you are shoulder to shoulder, even if you are physically distant. What do we say? We're not social distancing. We are physically distancing. You are shoulder to shoulder. I had a neighbor of mine. I need to borrow a drill bit, and it was great. He said, "Okay, I'll meet you outside." So I sent my 5-year-old out, and he stopped at the top of the driveway. My neighbor put the drill bit on the ground, walked away, almost like, I'm trying to think of a good illustration of where this was, but then my 5-year-old waited and then walked over, and they kept physical distance. It sounds like almost a little silly, but though, it's those kind of things that everyone is very intentional about. I just want to say thank you for what everyone's doing. This is so hard. My wife and I, as we were talking about this, it feels a little like our last several deployments, because there's this tension that you feel as you are adjusting to the new normal. And usually once you've been gone and you've been separated and you've been adjusting about 10 days, 2 weeks, all of a sudden you kind of you settle in. And I think the term that we use is homeostasis, is this kind of new normal. I think we're starting to get there. I just want to kind of encourage you as there's been all that tension. But so for my part, sorry, I kind of liken what I do as a chaplain as helping the CO understand the human terrain. So the skipper here is an aviator, he's a pilot, and so sir, if we were to talk just for a second about terrain, have you ever done low-level flying?
Absolutely.
Where did you do that?
Predominantly in Washington State, through the Cascade Mountain Range, out in the High Plains Desert in eastern Washington as well. Very enjoyable time. But we didn't just go out and fly it. We have routes that we have to prepare and build charts for and understand the terrain and how to get out of trouble. A lot of them are box canyons. You're at 500 feet above the ground, and the canyons are up around 10,000 feet, the walls of the mountains. So you have to know which way to go to get out of danger, what altitude, if you run into clouds, what altitude you're going to be safe at. So there's route study, terrain study long before you do that. So
Great, so that's exactly what I was looking for. So as a chaplain, I help the CO understand the human terrain. The challenge is, there's no chart right now for what's happening behind your door. There's no map to say what's happening in the townhouses or anywhere else on base, on Indian Head. And so what we're doing right now to help the CO be able to navigate the human terrain right now and provide for you is we have a weekly check-in. Hey, how's it going, that we're starting to send out. And you should have gotten that in the email this week from either Patricia Reeves, our military housing manager at Indian Head, or Sheila Taylor from the Dahlgren housing manager. And so it's a super quick 3-minute assessment. There's a text to number over there. There's a QR code. There's a link you can click on, but it's a quick 19-20 question. You click, 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 click. I'd encourage you to do that for us. You can be anonymous, or if you really kind of want to reach out, put your name on there, first name, phone number, and that'll help us know how's the human terrain right now. And we're going to do this weekly, so I hope you'll just stick with us. And it's going to ask things about your wellness, your health, just in general terms. Also finances. How's your kind of emotional morale going? And then also, if things get kind of squirrely or things aren't going well, there's a way that you can answer that as well, and we can help with that. So that's your community wellness, and again, weekly check-ins are started this week. If you do want to reach out, and I encourage you to reach out as well, to be so proactive, one way to do that is we have the Dahlgren Chapel app. Now that's applicable to folks on Indian Head as well. We just had to call it something, and we need a short name so it's catchy, people can remember. And so the Dahlgren Chapel app, and one of the things on there is a way you can book an appointment for yourself to chat with me. I made my calendar available through there, so you download the Dahlgren Chapel app, click on Make Appointment, Confidential Appointment. And what's cool about what I provide is it's 100% confidentiality. Most clinicians and fleet and family providers and military one-source providers are amazing. And I encourage you to reach out and they can do telehealth with you. But if you're really kind of concerned, like, I don't know, I really want to let this cat out of the bag, but I do want to talk to somebody, you and I can talk. It's 100% confidentiality. And we can kind of find creative solutions for what's happening in your world. Also, though, if you do want a clinician, you can hit up Military One Source on the community. Maybe you're hitting this video right now and you're not on Dahlgren or Indian Head base, but you live out in the community. Military One Source has counselors out and about as well. But I just want to encourage you that right now, what you are involved in is right here. And it's like right in front of your face, and it's constant. And this could be a 5-year-old. Or this could be a 3-year-old, or it could be 4 or 3 kids, and they're always right here, and you can't get away from kids. And what I want to say is that there is something out there outside of your current stressors. And so, as you were saying, Ms. Riccio, this idea of disconnecting, we could find a way, just a few minutes a day, to kind of unplug from the mundane and be reminded of bigger things. My wife, she... I think I'm not sharing out of turn here. She just had to get behind the bedroom door yesterday and just blare some music. And she had about 15 minutes of just singing to some music. And, the kids were fine. The house didn't burn down for those 15 minutes. But it was such a good time for her. And I just encourage you to do the same thing. But also the idea about kind of disengaging from a moment, from the mundane, you can even kind of take that connection a little higher. And I call it the transcendent. And so obviously I am a chaplain, also means I'm a person of faith. And coming up, this Sunday is Palm Sunday, depending on when you're watching this. And then very soon is going to be Easter Sunday, as the bunny on the base will be signifying. But also we have an online virtual gathering here on base. And if you hit up the app, there's a link for our Dahlgren Chapel virtual gathering. And we do that every Sunday now. We have an online platform where it's not only just content, but also there's a chat. And people are chatting it up, and people are kind of connecting virtually, real time. And also there's like a live prayer time, and so we could chat via prayer. But this Sunday is Palm Sunday, then Easter's coming up as well. Last thing, sir, and it's another sea story, and I'll end with a sea story. My last deployment was on an aircraft carrier, the Abraham Lincoln. I was the Air Wing chaplain. And as we had 8 squadrons on board the carrier, and we had all those work centers, the folks who had the hardest time, it seemed like, were the introverts. Now, an introvert is not antisocial. Introverts do like people, I promise. But introverts are introverts because they recharge by getting alone and getting some disengagement time from other people. The introverts on the ship were always around 5,000 of their closest friends. And they could never disengage, and so they could never recharge their batteries, and so they felt always depleted. And so I can imagine what it's like for an introverted right now, an introvert at home, constantly around people. So that's what I encourage you. I know it's hard, and so you may have to do a little extra work as an introvert to recharge and to kind of refresh yourself. And so again, feel free to reach out or kind of close that door. So, sir, we've got not only appointments available, we've got those wellness checks available, and we're going to have some online resources. The Fleet and Family Sports Center is going to have some trainings available, some videos available on YouTube coming up. And so I've been working with Fleet and Family as they kind of create some helpful content for marriages, for parenting, just for stress and anxiety management. And so I thank you for your time today, and sir, thank you for letting me be here with you.
No, thank you, chaps. As an introvert whose job is to pretend to be an extrovert, I completely agree with that. My stress reliever is to either go for a run or work out by myself. I prefer that. I don't like running with other people plus I don't like seeing how slowly I run, which is part of it. But thanks. That's actually a great point. There's the extroverts who are trapped at home are wanting more people. The introverts trapped at home are wanting less people. So everyone's kind of in out of their comfort zone. I've seen on social media, one guy's like, because as soon as this thing's lifted, this extrovert's coming out with a roar, and he goes, I'm going to blow up everything. But anyway, I forgot to mention one group that comes in every day. They're the glue that keep everything running. I'd like to thank the NAVFAC Public Works team as well. Thank you all for everything you guys do. There's a billboard I drive by when I drive up the Indian Head, and it's for an air conditioner use. If you haven't noticed us, we're doing our job right, and that is a perfect analogy for me with NAVFAC Public Works. Most of the time, we don't notice all the 10,650 things they do every single day to make sure the installation runs. We only notice when something breaks and they show up. So I'd like to thank them for continuing to maintain operations while we're doing this period of time here. And something I'd like to finish up with is, this is an opportunity. There are a lot of stressors out there. I know there's a lot of students, 8th graders missing the end of their middle school, 6th graders miss the end of the elementary year. My middle son is a senior in high school. He's missing his prom and a lot of other things. There's a lot of stress out there. But the good thing is, for most of us, at least in the military and in the Department of Defense, we're very fortunate. And so I try to look at the positive. I'm still getting a paycheck when a lot of people are out of work. We have an opportunity to make a YouTube channel. You know, something I've been wanting to get after. We just haven't had time. And now we have an opportunity, with a lot of people staying home, to focus on things we've been wanting to get after. I'm doing more home projects because my wife's home to direct me more. But try to look for the positive. There are a lot of things. I heard a story, I don't know if it's true, and Mrs. Riccio may be able to back me up, that Sir Isaac Newton was in isolation because of, I believe, at the time, there was some pandemic going on. What was it? Plague? The plague. He invented calculus when he was in isolation. Something we use today. It benefits all of humanity. Calculus, invented by Sir Isaac Newton while he was in isolation. So use this as an opportunity. Look for the positive. Things you don't normally have time to do. Spend time with family. Come up with new ways to reach out and support people better. Create something new for education that benefits all of mankind. So please look at this as an opportunity. There's challenges. Our homeostasis of what we're falling into here. Silly tricks to help you get over those things. But just remember, this is an opportunity for us to reconnect with our families, figure out learn more about yourself and how you can make things better for society. So thank you all for dialing in. Again, we'll be on hopefully in another week or two and with your questions, and we'll have some answers. Give us time to answer your questions and come back out. And I'd like to thank my panel for coming in today again. Ms. Fabey, my N9, Mrs. Riccio, the principal of Dahlgren School, and Chaplain Selitto. Thank you all for coming in and giving us this opportunity. God bless. Stay safe.